Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie, and welcome back to another DraftKings UCL soccer slate breakdown. So, we got ourselves a Wednesday slate here, and this is, in my opinion, kind of the hardest, slate, the hardest two matchups in the whole UCL that we've had so far. Like, two plus odd games. Like, there's no favorite here, so it's all pretty even. It's pretty much a crapshoot. Like it's hard to predict exactly who will have the better run of play because of the pretty even odds. In terms of projected lineups and set pieces for Dortmund here, it'll be largely Brandt, like almost a monopoly, but we could see Royce and he'd maybe take a tiny bit. We could see Sancho take a couple of corners short or something. Could see Matson maybe randomly hop on a couple set pieces, but mostly Brandt. In terms of PSV, if it's this lineup, it'll be a Veerman Bakayoko split. We might not see Veerman in because he's been dealing with, I think, an illness or something. So I don't think he's been fully training, but he's expected to start here despite that. And we just saw like Conor Gallagher go like 90 minutes for Chelsea after dealing with like a similar thing. So if he's starting, I wouldn't worry about him too much. If he's not in though, for whatever reason, it'll be Lozano and Bakayoko splitting. Atleti Inter. Atleti are going to be super difficult to kind of predict ahead of time because there's a lot of guys who could play, who could not play, and they all affect set pieces differently. If it's this projected lineup, it'll most likely be a Depay monopoly. We might see maybe DePaul take one or two. However, there's I wouldn't say that this is like a nailed down starting lineup by any means because one, you could have Nahuel Molina in at right wing back here. And I think Depay would alpha him, but I'm not 100% on that. They haven't played together a ton, and they've both taken set pieces. And then the other guy, the like kind of the big elephant in the room, is whether Antoine Griezmann starts. Like he's back in training. They could put him straight into the starting lineup even, and he'd take the most sets, I'd say. We could even then, though, see one of the right-footed guys being Molina or Depay splitting. And then, even if he's not in, he's likely to come in pretty early, and that sub is more likely than not for Depay. So even if you have like this kind of nut lineup for Depay sets lineup, like it could still be a bad play just because he's likely going to get subbed early. So that's kind of the issue with Atletico Madrid. For Inter Milan, set pieces are a DeMarco and Çalhanoğlu split. They have kind of the clearest set pieces on the entire slate. In terms of prices, the big guy is Lautaro Martinez. 16 floor against that Atleti first game. He's been on fire in the Serie A. He has like 28 goals or something crazy. I don't think it's that much, but he has a ton of goals. He's the highest goal scorer by a country mile in Serie A right now. Then there's Antoine Griezmann. If he's starting, I'm probably going back to him. Even on like I think he'll go the distance if they start him just because of the nature of the tie. And this is kind of their UCL season, but this is their UCL season on the line right here. Like they'll push him, I think, as much as they can. I know he was not great the first leg here, but now at Letiar at home, I kind of think they'll make it an open matchup. So I see myself going Griezmann. There's Luke De Jong. He got there against Dortmund. Now he's away though. Dortmund should be the aggressors in theory, considering they're the home team. And in that case, expensive. So I don't love Luke De Jong in cash at least. Danielle Mount 8,500. Like the issue here is that all of these games are a toss up. So then it kind of makes it hard to rule anyone out like you can with like the Porto attackers, say, for the Tuesday slate. So kind of everyone's in play. And that price I don't think is that bad for Malin. He's kind of got a higher floor than you'd think for a setless attacker, but like he gets fouls from, he gets shots, he gets a decent amount of crosses. Like he would have had what 9 points or something. even without the goal against PSV. Like he just finds a way to get points. Like he had 14 there against Newcastle too. Like I don't think he's that crazy of a play. Oh, I didn't even mention Correa, who like he also potentially could start and potentially could take set pieces. I think Molina would take over him, but he's taken some stuff in the past, even with Molina on the field. Like, as you're just a messy situation when Griezmann is not starting. It's like that's another guy to think about. That's kind of going on with that team. Adeyemi, I think, is too much. He took a couple corners for Dortmund last game, but that's because Brandt got subbed early. I don't think he would otherwise. Royce 8K, I think that's too much. He's a sub risk. If there's no Brandt, I could see the argument he'd have set pieces then. But then the issue is like he had set pieces this game too. He got subbed early at 2 points. Like it wasn't a worth play whatsoever. Fulkrug 7,600. That's not bad. The issue is that I just don't know how many minutes he goes. Like he got 65 against Bremen. He could go 90, but that's not a guarantee. Like he's all these Dortmund attackers, like they rotate pretty frequently. So it makes them a little scary to pick from. Sanchez 7,400. If there's no Chalanolu by some miracle, he'll be the one splitting with DiMarco. I don't think he's horrible of a play. Like I don't think that's crazy, but I'd be pretty crazy for Chalanolu not to play. Lozano, if there's no Veerman starting, like if he's still not ready to start, I'm pretty interested in that. You got pretty good open play value. And with set pieces, like he definitely could put up some monster scores, even without or with Veerman in and without Lozano taking set pieces. Like he's still not that bad of a play. Like he had 8-4 against Dortmund. He's been getting a decent amount of minutes in there, and he's been getting a lot of points in that time he's on. So I could see the argument for Lozano. I don't think that's that kind of a play. Murata 7K, that's pretty cheap. I don't think that's that crazy. He's probably most likely to go 90 of all the Atleti attackers. Bakayoko, I really like that at 6,900. Splitting set pieces, he's always just had a solid floor. That's pretty cheap. I think that's probably my favorite forward in cash, I kind of want to say right now. Thuram, like he splits time with Sanchez. I worry about a little bit. Tillman, like I think he got there last game. I just don't see him doing that again away. So I'm not a huge fan of that. And there's Depay for 6,500. I'm just afraid of look at that like that. That's what you're likely to see. He'll probably go one half if he's starting. And like I like set pieces, but I don't know if it's worth it to pick that, knowing a guy is going to get substituted as early as he is going to. Pepe probably won't play. Lino 5,800. That's not horrible. Problem is I don't like playing a premium or using a forward role position on a guy who's a wingback. Sancho 5,500. That's not horrible. That's super cheap. He has first goal over the weekend, but afraid of his minutes. And I guess that's my main concern with him. I don't think he has a ton of upside despite that goal last game. Look, there's just a ton of guys you can go. This is such a hard slate with kind of how you can construct. There's like 20 different ways you can go because every forward is really in play. Midfielders, Brandt's that much. If he was just a little bit cheaper, I'd say he's a lock. But he he can play anywhere across like any of these five positions. You could see him as a defensive midfielder. So I'm a little bit position dependent on him. And then I just think this is a lot for a guy who has not shown a ton of goal contribution equity in the past. But if he's in that attacking role, like as the 10 or even on the wing, I'll probably run the gauntlet on him. But he's definitely not a lock by any means. It's just another tough decision to make and one of many. Chalanolu, he's the safe play, I'd say. Atleti will never dominate a game. Like we saw them get battered by Bilbao in like the Copa del Rey final or whatever final that was, the Spanish Cup. So like I don't mind going back to that. He had 9 points against Atleti last game. He feels like a safe play to me. There's Lorente. At least at striker somehow, if you've seen him play in the past, I don't think that's that bad. Even at wingback, he's not that bad. He, I don't want to say he probably goes 90 because we've seen Atleti do some weird subs, but he's a candidate to go 90. And like he can have those 4 games, just they're kind of sporadic. For cash, he's maybe a little volatile for me. Like I like DePaul a little bit more for cheaper. He's got a more certain role. You kind of know where he is. He's gonna be like box to box mid role. He is pretty attacking. He'll get some key passes. He'll get some shots. Maybe a goal contribution if you're lucky. Although that has not happened yet in the UCL. He's got that in his locker. And this is like super value mids. Like Barella, he was probably the highest floor guy when this slate happened in the first leg. So like I don't think that's that bad for that cheap. Like I can get behind that. Everything else I'm kind of lukewarm on. Like in terms of my mids I like here, or strictly mids, Brandt, Çalhanoğlu, DePaul, Barella. Those are the big names I'd say. And then the rest got like forward guys like um Bakayoko, Griezmann, Lautaro. I don't know which one I'll land on yet. Like I'm gonna have to make a split decision come lock time. In terms of D, I'll just go D Marco. He was not great against Atleti, but like on a slate like this, I think I just have to go there because he's the only guy I'm certain of for their role. And also he's kind of the best of a pretty mid set of defenders. Like Matson, I think is a little much for that. I'd rather go DiMarco any day of the week. And same with everyone else. Molina, if there's I'd say Molina if it's like a front line of Murata and Correa. If it's Depay, I feel like Depay might take over him. For 4,600, it's not the craziest idea to punt for that. He won't need set necessarily if he's in a wingback role and that cheap. So I don't mind a Molina play. Dest scored a banger over the weekend. He just doesn't cross a ton. I worry about a little bit. Like he still got there against Dortmund, but that was at home. I worry about them a little bit more away. There's not a ton of defenders I'm super interested in. Like I imagine I'll just be punting and kind of correlating with my goalkeeper, most likely. However, the one guy I do want to talk about is Bastoni. Because this guy, I know he's a center back, but like he's basically a fullback. He gets forward so much, he just crosses the ball. Like, look at that. 10 points against Atleti. He's arguably got the highest floor of every defender besides DiMarco. Like, that's how weird of a slate this is. Yeah, like I don't really want to get into any defender besides him too much. I could see the argument maybe like a Mauro Jr. just because he's mispositioned. 3,500 defender playing mid potentially. That's not that bad of an idea. Like that's something I'll think about. But everything else is just a crapshoot, like I said before. Goalie, these are all plus odds goalkeepers. There's not a huge gap even in prices between them all. Like who's the cheapest? Benitez. Like you can, all of them are in play. Like you could get away with going any of them. And it's just gonna be a hard slate. In terms of my core, I'm going DeMarco, and then I'm not even 100% sure what I do with the rest. I think I'm going Griezmann if he's in. I think I'm going Çalhanoğlu if he's in. I think I do that. However, I might, if Griezmann isn't in, I'll probably go Brandt there. Maybe I go Bakayoko. I don't know, but I'm probably go. I might not even go Çalhanoğlu. Might go Griezmann, Brandt. I don't know. It's a hard slate, but I'll have some combination of those guys. Make sure to check out the FSI website. It has a link to our Discord where I'll have a core come time, which I'll be playing. Right now, it's just too tough to narrow anything down just because of the uncertain lineups and potential set pieces. But I name dropped a couple of guys there that I'm thinking about going, but I can't be more concrete at this moment. And yeah, guys, hard slate. Good luck. Hopefully you can find a solution to all these puzzles, and I'll see you for a Premier League breakdown in a couple days. Later, guys.